All right. Hey, everybody. So we're here to talk about moon phases. Let me see if I can zoom in a little to get this to fill the screen more completely. I think I can. So we're talking about moon phases. Before I start, if you can hear me right now, you don't really need this message, but I've noticed that some people do. Unmute me and turn the volume on. I have witnessed way too many students watching me on mute. How can you understand what I'm talking about? Thank you. And now that everybody can hear me, you need a paper. You're filling out paper notes. You are writing with your pen or pencil on the notes. No, there's not an answer on this page, but there's going to be answers on other pages. You have to compare what's on my screen to what's on your paper. I don't have a copy of the paper right now, but you know where to find it, and you have a paper. Okay, so everybody has their headphones in, and everybody has a paper. All right, let's go. So we're talking about, as I said, moon phases. So, a slow scroll is not working. So, the moon, we have some quick facts. Okay, it revolves around the Earth, just like the Earth revolves around the sun, and it rotates on its own axis. So it also is slowly turning, just like the Earth does. It takes 27.3 days to revolve. Remember that revolve is to go in a circle around the Earth. And it takes 27.3 days to rotate on its axis, to spin around, which is kind of strange that they're exactly the same. So its day, how long it takes to spin, is the same as its year, how long it takes to go around. So the different shapes of the moon are called phases. We know that. And there's times when we're going to see the moon blocking the sun or the sun blocking the moon. Those are going to be called eclipses. And we're going to have our own note sheet for those going forward. All right, so what's an eclipse? Oh, there's some on this notes. I forgot. What is an eclipse? An eclipse occurs when an object in space comes between the sun and a third object and casts a shadow. So we have solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, okay? When one gets in front of the other and a shadow is cast and it kind of blocks our view. Okay, a solar eclipse is when the moon is in the middle. So the sun is getting blocked, and a lunar eclipse is when Earth is in the middle, okay? So I remembered that it's basically named for what's getting blocked, okay? So in the solar eclipse, the moon is kind of blocking our view of the sun, so solar means sun. And in the lunar eclipse, Earth is blocking the light of the sun from reaching the moon. So the moon is getting kind of blocked off. We see the moon during that lunar eclipse, but it gets this strange that you see up there, this kind of reddish, sometimes we say a blood moon, that because that sunlight is not coming through that we always see reflecting off of that moon. So again, in a solar, the sun is blocked. In a lunar, the moon is blocked. So look. In the solar, the moon's in the middle, and in the lunar, the Earth is in the middle, okay? And we see this shadow, okay? This shadow being cast. In the solar eclipse, you might remember people talking about being in the path, right? Being in the path of this little shadow, okay? So that solar eclipse has kind of like a path of who on Earth can view it at what times because that small shadow is created by the moon. And here in the lunar eclipse, the Earth is bigger than the moon, so the whole moon is in shadow. Okay? We're not going to watch this video right now, so I'm going to keep moving. So a true or false question. An eclipse occurs when an object in space comes between the sun and a third object and casts a shadow. What do you think? Okay? I'm going to say true. Okay, it's when one thing is blocking another from our view and it's casting that shadow. Okay, so back to the phases. What's causing them? Okay, how much, first of all, we have to understand that the moon is lit up because a light from the sun is shining on it. The moon doesn't make any light. It just reflects, the light bounces off, from the sun. So if anything is blocking that sunlight from reaching the moon, then there will be a little shadow, right? So we're looking at different angles of the moon in terms of how much of the lit half of the moon we're seeing, right? Because half of the moon is light, half of the moon is dark. Because let me see if I can make an example here. I have my phone flashlight. So like half of my face is really lit up and this half of my face is way more dark, right? So when we're looking at the moon from straight on this line, we'll see the half and half, but if we're looking at it over here, we'll see all full. If we're looking at over here, we would see all dark, right? It wasn't a great example, but just to give you an idea, okay? And so this is a detailed picture up here of the moon going through those phases, and that takes, again, about a month. So how much of the moon is always in sunlight? We see different amounts of the sunny moon, different parts of the month, but half of the moon is in sunlight and half of the moon is in darkness all the time. We're just seeing different amounts of that depending on the time of the month and where the moon is in its revolution, in its orbit around Earth. Okay, so why don't we see the same phase? So during the new moon, the side of the moon facing Earth is the side that's not lit up. As the moon revolves around the Earth, more of the lit side appears until it looks full. When it goes through its orbit, less of the lit side is seen and the new moon appears. So it's just going through. The sun is always to that one part of the moon, but where we're seeing it from, because if my head is the Earth and my pen is the moon in this case, then right here I'm seeing a different part of the moon than right here, right? And so I'm gonna see different amounts of that light half and that dark half. So after about 29.5 days after the last new moon, which the new moon is this dark one, the cycle is complete, and then you see the new moon again, okay? So we're going from new moon all the way back around to new moon. And new moon just means when you can't see it. New moon, no moon is a way to remember it. So how long is the moon phase cycle? We can scroll back up to see about 29 and a half days. All right, so your doodle notes are going to have the more specific names of those phases. So are some of the other things that you're going to do, and you're going to label them in your lab as well. You're going to make sure you learn those, but this is just the basic what is going on with the moon having phases and why. And there it is. All right, I'm going to go for now. Bye-bye.